Okay, this one says, we are now fully immersed in an AI generative world, but AI hasn't quite replicated human voice and mannerisms yet, though this might be moot in 5 years. Myers suggests, and I agree, that we don't learn particularly well from robotic characteristics. Just curious to hear the thoughts of two brilliant designers, now three, on the influx of AI generated learning products. So, Heidi, I'll toss this one to you. What do you think about this?
I just did a post about this recently. I have yet to see in the EdTech space, I've seen some good like deep fakes, right? But if we're talking specifically the EdTech space, I have yet to see a AI generated voice or video avatar that doesn't evoke Uncanny Valley response from me. And I explained a little bit what Uncanny Valley is in my LinkedIn post, that it's I think it's literally described as like the feeling of disgust and repulsion that you get when you see something that's trying to be human but isn't quite. And like, I'm sure if you're like me, you've played with like the AI art generators or like the profile picture generators, and like the things that they do to humans' hands and eyes, like the eyes are really like, I think that's one of the things that makes us most human, right? And like, it's just not there yet. Right? Like none of it is there yet. Like you can tell it's not a real human. And then we have also this this problem where people are like using chat GPT like it's Google. But like Google at least tells you the resources, like the references where it got the information. So I think what we're seeing right now is like a really good try, but we're just like not quite there yet. And I don't think it's going to replace amazing voiceover actors. I don't think it's going to replace. We all have like a really high def camera in our hands all day, every day. It's so easy to take video for learning ourselves. You know, I don't think we're there yet. And I think to this person's point, like, we have to be really careful about the multimedia principles when we do start using them.
Yeah.
I do wonder about, and I saw two thoughts because you mentioned about Heidi, like the deep fakes and whatnot. If you think of anywhere else outside of EdTech, you have these incredibly scary, realistic examples. And I'm like, is it just a matter of time until like we get into here? Like that's my assumption. I mean, like when MIT, before they did a deep fake about the moon landing and Nixon, and that was years ago, looked legit to me. This is before we were talking about AI in this manner. But I was also listening, and I saw this kind of like revolt come from all of these fans of Linkin Park because it was a deep fake as far as for using Chester Bennington, R.I.P., his voice and singing a Slipknot song. And it was him, quote unquote, sounded just like him. And it was like, whoa. I bet now there's all these Kurt Cobain cover songs of he's singing REM and all these other different things, or like Black Hole Sun, and you're like, oh, this is getting weird. So it's there, but it's not in our space yet, which really does make me kind of wonder about kind of like where this is going, how it's being used, all these things of that nature. But also the writer's strike is currently happening right now with everything. So this has been hitting everything as far as for movies and Netflix and all these talk show hosts and whatnot. Netflix, specifically, this article just came out talking about how some of the wording in their contracts is saying that the voice actors are giving permission to actually have AI generated voicing of like their actual like their IP, if you will, of your own voice, what makes you unique, and giving that to Netflix is a part of the contract. And for voice actors specifically, like that's terrifying. So I don't know how I feel about this one. I like AI in a number of places, but this to me is just like, whoa, this could. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so I think Uncanny Valley definitely is a big barrier, and maybe that's something that's keeping our jobs safe for a while. But I think there are going to be interesting ways to get around it, and I think at the moment we and I keep going on about this in terms of AI, in terms of we shouldn't immediately try to replace our processes and practices and way to do things. I think we can find ways to augment. So an example of how AI is helping us to augment is there's this incredible audio enhancing tool that Adobe came out with, where you can take a really, really bad sound recording and you can upload it there, and it pushes out like studio quality sound file that you can then just bring into your project, and it gets rid of all the weird background noises, it fixes all the audio. It's incredible. So I think maybe in this like intermediary phase between AI just releasing and us getting over this uncanny valley, will be augmenting ourselves. So it'll be AI tools that enhance the quality of our video or our audio, or it'll help us to get rid of, especially for me, all the ums and ahs that you put into your speech. So soon these ways of augmenting will make our processes much faster and cheaper. So that'll be really good. I also think that in terms of like video like an AI avatar and an AI sound together is very difficult. But I have been playing around with some really good artificial voice, AI voice generating tools, and they are incredibly good. They're still obviously not perfect, but they're very good if you are on a shoestring budget and you can't afford a voiceover artist and you want to do a scenario and you want this like Morgan Freeman sounding narrator to come in and say something really epic, and then you can just put like slides or something to set the scene or whatever. You don't have to do a virtual avatar and virtual sound together. You can disassociate them. Or if you've got a virtual avatar, make it obvious that it's a robot. Don't dress them up like real people. Make it like this is a fake. What if Clippy spoke? That wouldn't be as jarring as someone who tries to look like a real person.
Yeah.
Would have thrown my laptop across the room if Clippy spoke back to the day to me. I would have freaked out. That's how I would have like, wow, no. Now, okay, but back then that would have terrified me as a kid.
Very true.